I suddenly opened my eyes and pressed my chest. The sound of my heart pounding exploded in my ears. During my previous life, until the moment I died, Rick Duncan still had a disgusted look on his face. The memories of my previous life caused my heart to ache. I felt like I was overwhelmed with pain. The laughter of Rick and Jennifer Frost came from downstairs. "Rick, you're so annoying. I can't believe you're not willing to come to the art exhibition with me." Rick explained, "I have plans during the morning. I'll take you to a banquet in the evening." "Really?" Jennifer was overjoyed. "You're the best, Rick." Jennifer's lips curved into a smile. She wrapped her arms around Rick's neck and kissed him. "Don't let your sister see this." Rick sounded like he was giving a warning, but he still pinched Jennifer's nose intimately. Standing upstairs and seeing how intimate they were, I felt my heart ached. Jennifer suddenly thought of something. "Isn't Wendy going?" Rick didn't look like he cared. "She's not going. She's got other plans." However, he never told me that he was attending a banquet that night. I forced myself to remain calm. "Go with Rick, Mindy. I have plans tonight." Both Rick and Jennifer gave me a puzzled look. That was because I would always ask Rick to take me with him. Jennifer didn't believe me. "Wendy, are you really not going?" I walked downstairs. "Rick will be very happy with you by his side." "What nonsense are you talking about?" shouted Rick. I looked at him straight in the eyes. "Am I wrong? Isn't Mindy your savior? Why are you so nervous?" Rick said with a cold face, "I don't like what you're saying. Don't ever say that again." With that said, Rick told Jennifer to get ready. "It's my birthday today, Rick. Can you celebrate my birthday with me?" I called out to Rick. Jennifer immediately covered her mouth. "Sorry, Wendy. I forgot." Rick felt a little awkward as well. At lunchtime, a pink cake and many delicious dishes were on the dining table. They were all Jennifer's favorites. I didn't really want to celebrate my birthday. On the same day in my previous life, Jennifer died in a car accident on her way home. Rick was extremely upset and thought that I caused him to lose Jennifer. Ever since that day, Rick would torture me every day to make himself happy. After being reborn, I wouldn't want to be responsible for something that I hadn't done. After some hesitation, I still decided to save her. However, my heart felt like it was being stabbed by countless daggers. Sitting at the table, Rick kept on putting food on Jennifer's plate. Jennifer kept on complimenting, "You're the best, Rick. You know what I like." While she said those words, she would occasionally look at me. A push notification popped up on our phones. It was about a car accident. When Jennifer saw the news, her face paled. "That's the route I would take if I went home." "If I had gone home earlier, would I?" Rick hugged her and patted her back. "Don't be afraid. You're fine now, aren't you? Can you give me a lift home, Rick?" Jennifer asked coquettishly. "I'm scared." Seeing their actions, I rubbed my abdomen. I was 9 weeks pregnant. It was only confirmed yesterday. I previously wanted to give Rick a surprise. However, I decided to have an abortion that day. "I'm sorry, baby. You still don't have a chance to be born into this world," I thought. In the hospital, Dr. Dixon was a little shocked when she heard that I wanted an abortion. "Are you sure about this? Does your husband know about this?" Dr. Dixon knew how much I wanted a child. She had seen me quite a lot of times during the past 2 years. I nodded. "I'm sure. I want to go through with the abortion today." Seeing how determined I was, Dr. Dixon arranged for the abortion to take place. After the operation, I sat alone in the car and rubbed my abdomen. Tears trickled down my cheeks and landed on my lap. In the end, I couldn't help but start crying loudly. I was crying because I lost my child and also because of what happened during my previous life. During dinner, my parents saw that I was the only one who came home, so they asked me if Jennifer was with Rick. I forced myself not to show any discomfort and said, "Yeah, Rick took Jennifer to a banquet." My mother, Linda Frost, looked a little awkward. "Wendy, aren't you afraid that something will happen between them?" "Will nothing happen between them if I keep an eye on them?" I put down the cutlery in my hands and said, "I've thought about it. I want a divorce. Mom, Dad, Rick thinks Jennifer is Mindy and she's the only person he cares about. Jennifer also thought she was the one who was with Rick back then. At that moment, the room became so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. I was kidnapped when I was 6 years old in a theme park. When I was found, my parents burst into tears. Then they began taking care of me at home every day. Back then, Jennifer was only 5 years old. One day, she suddenly fainted. When she woke up, she began saying that she was Mindy. Mindy was my nickname. My parents tried to tell her the truth, but Jennifer would start panting every time and then faint. As time passed, my parents gave up. From that day onwards, Jennifer became Mindy. I wanted to continue, but Rick came back with Jennifer, who was drunk. Mom, Dad, Mindy had a little too much to drink today. I'm going to have to ask you to take care of her. Rick, who was sober at that moment, reminded me of 3 days ago when he was throwing up in the toilet. Rick would never get himself drunk because he wanted to take care of Jennifer. On the way home, neither of us said a word. Seeing that Rick was about to return to his room, I said, "Why do you love Jennifer so much?" Rick looked at me disdainfully. "Someone like you wouldn't understand how important Mindy is to me." I asked again, "Why do you love Jennifer so much?" Rick recalled his past memories. Back then, if it weren't for Mindy keeping me company, I wouldn't know where I am right now. Therefore, I am willing to give Mindy whatever she wants. Rick, do you love Mindy or Jennifer? I was curious. Rick immediately replied, "Jennifer is Mindy." What if you're wrong? He mocked, "How can I say I love her if I can't even recognize Mindy?" When I heard his reply during my previous life, I felt like my heart was stabbed by countless daggers. But now, I found his reply funny. On the day that I was kidnapped, so was Rick. The human traffickers took us to countless places to hide. Rick would always cry for a long time. I didn't want him to be beaten up all the time, so I would secretly comfort him. The lucky thing was that we were rescued before we were sold. When we parted ways, he only knew that the short-haired girl who smiled a lot was Mindy. "Don't forget me, Mindy," he said. To Rick, Mindy was his childhood sweetheart who kept him company during the toughest times. I did remember him, but he didn't remember me. When we met again, the Duncan family was having financial difficulties and hoped to have a marriage alliance with my family. Because of Jennifer, my parents and I never brought up the kidnap. Even Rick's parents thought that Jennifer was Mindy. On the second day of me and Rick's marriage, Jennifer returned after being missing for 6 months. Rick looked at Jennifer, who had short hair and always smiled, and my parents. He had finally found Mindy. Jennifer seemed to have remembered everything and immediately recognized Rick. From that moment onwards, their love became secret but passionate. As for me, I looked like someone who forced a loving couple to be apart. After heading upstairs, I suddenly thought of something. "Rick, why are you so sure that Jennifer is Mindy?" "No one has the same gentle smile as Mindy," he said. So that was the reason. I stopped smiling a long time ago. To everyone at work, I was a cold and ruthless woman. Even my parents would try and convince me not to be so strict. I yawned and was about to go to bed. When I woke up again, Rick had already gone to work. I went to find him with the paperwork and saw Jennifer in his office. "Wendy, are you here for Rick?" Jennifer was surprised. "He's gone to a meeting and will be back soon." She acted like she was at home and even asked the secretary to make me a cup of coffee. I sat opposite her. "Jennifer, have you gone to the hospital for your checkup?" "I'm not sick, why should I go for a checkup?" Jennifer stopped what she was doing. "Also, Wendy, you need to call me Mindy." "You're not Mindy, Jennifer." I looked into her eyes. As soon as I finished speaking, Jennifer began panting and her face turned red. She then began coughing. "What's wrong, Mindy?" As soon as Rick opened the door and saw Jennifer's state, he rushed over and pulled Jennifer into his arms. "Don't scare me, Mindy." He furrowed his brows and looked at me. His eyes were full of anger. "Wendy, what did you do to Jennifer? If anything happens to Mindy, I'll make you pay with your life." I was intentionally testing Jennifer, but Rick pinned the blame on me without asking anything made my heart ache. I gave him everything but was still not as important as someone who was called Mindy. After Jennifer was sent to the hospital, Rick stayed by her side. A short while later, Jennifer woke up. She looked at me with tearful eyes. Wendy, am I not your sister? Why do you have to do this to me? Rick glared at me. I knew it was you. Why did you do it, you madwoman? Jennifer lay in Rick's arms looking weak. Rick. Wendy said. That I'm not Mindy. Rick. Please tell me it's not true. Of course, it's not true. She's just jealous, that's all. Rick pulled Jennifer into his embrace. It's impossible for me to make a mistake. You're Mindy. I couldn't stand them anymore. I took out a piece of paper and threw it in front of Rick. Let's get a divorce, Rick. Rick looked at me with a face full of disgust. What games are you playing again? Sign the paperwork and then I won't stop you from being with whoever you want. Rick became a little hesitant. I knew what he was hesitating about. Our families will continue to be business partners. Jennifer looked at Rick with tears in her eyes. Rick asked after a while, are you serious? I pretended to reach for the divorce agreement. Forget about it then. He quickly grabs the divorce agreement. Since that's the case, then I'll give you what you want. A month later, I finally filed our divorce papers and felt relieved. Standing in front of the courthouse, Rick suddenly said, Wendy, there's an order of arrival for love. If you were the person I met first, I would definitely fall in love with you. He looked at me passionately. I cocked my brows, put on my sunglasses, and left. A week later, Rick came to our house as Jennifer's boyfriend. Jennifer leaned against him coquettishly. Mom, Dad, please agree to our marriage. Rick and I truly love each other. My parents didn't know what to say. They gave me a complicated look. Seeing this, Jennifer walked over and wrapped her arms around mine. Wendy, you would definitely agree, right? Besides, you're already divorced. You don't still love Rick, do you? Rick's eyes flashed as he looked at me. I pushed Jennifer's hands away. I wish you all the best. Besides, I also have a promise for you. What's that? Rick asked desperately. I replied slowly, if you divorce Jennifer, then I'll withdraw all of my family's investments. Are you satisfied, Mindy? I asked Jennifer with a smile. Jennifer didn't expect me to give such a promise and was taken aback. Wendy. She then said with joy, of course, I'm satisfied. You're the best, Wendy. 2 months later, a grand wedding was held in Heliofield. There were flowers everywhere and the two on stage had bright smiles on their faces. Seeing them exchanging wedding rings, I became in a little bit of a daze. Is this really okay? My mother asked. I came back to my senses. I gave them a choice. As I said those words, the two had already walked off stage and were walking towards me. Jennifer held a glass of wine and said, Wendy, I wish you would be as happy as I am. I didn't drink and just gave them the wedding gift that I had prepared. One for each of you. Open it when you get home. I wish you all the best. I tidied Jennifer's wedding veil. Mindy, I hope you can be this happy every day. I picked up a glass of wine and downed the whole glass. Late at night, I heard my phone ring. I answered the call with my eyes closed. Hello? The person on the other end of the line was sobbing. I'm sorry. Mindy. I regret my decision.